All right, welcome. I am Dr. CJ Benkert with Pura Vida Wellness, Pure Living, Pura Vida, Pure Life. And this is our series of interviews. We're celebrating Valentine's Day, love, family, connection, couples. And we're interviewing this month different couples, powers of two, that have gone through the program. And I am honored to introduce to you Fabiola and Zen. So say hi, introduce yourself. I know we're going to be doing a little bit of, interpretation, and that's fine. So whatever we need to do to make sure that, Fabiola understands the questions. And I'm sure there's a lot of people on the line that speak Spanish. And this is just giving me more of a push, because one of my life goals is to become fluent in Spanish. So, and that will happen. And you guys will see one day I'll be doing a live in all Spanish. How about that?
Amazing.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Zen, short for Zenaida. This is my mother, Fabiola. I joined the program about two years ago, 2.5 years, and I got to this point in the program where I was struggling. So I've been telling my mom about the program. She decided to join me 6 months ago. And I think that's kind of just been like the crucial turning point for me and for my success.
Okay. Awesome. So because you had somebody to go through it with you and you weren't all alone, you really noticed a big difference in being able to stick with the program and follow the program?
I think for me, it just becomes more the issue of accountability. I have a really demanding lifestyle, really just stressful job, and the hours fluctuate, so it's not consistent. And oftentimes I was fighting like the stress of it all, and just, like not having enough time to cook. And so I just kind of felt in the little pitfalls of I'm going to cheat one day and one day turn into two. But with my mom on board, it's easier to be accountable to myself, to my mom, because she's looking to me for guidance. So I have to be that role model that she needs in order to thrive.
That's so powerful. So you're doing it out of love for her. So I want to get into both of your stories. I want to ask you, how much of your numbers are you comfortable? Are you comfortable sharing your numbers, or would you? How about your mom? Is she comfortable with us sharing her numbers?
¿Tú tienes problemas si ellos les dicen cuánto perdiste, cuánto pesabas, tus números? No, she's okay with it.
Okay, she's okay with it. Okay, so why don't we start with, we kind of already introduced you. Let's introduce your mom now, because I know, let's see, I've got both of your BCAs from when you first started recently, and I have her intake form because I remember how long we were in the consult room and going over all of her medications. You remember that?
Yes.
So your mom came in August of 2020. So less than a year ago, about 6 months ago. And when she came in, she was on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like seven or 8 medications.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and so when she came in, the thing that impressed me the most, and the thing that I was so worried about with your mom, was not the fact that she was diabetic, but the depression. I mean, I just remember sitting across from her and just looking at her and just saying, this is not a happy person, una persona de feliz.
No,
pero ahora she's happy. I mean, there's such a difference in her disposition. So talk to me about when she came in, where she was, what you knew of her. She's your mom. So what was her general disposition, and why did she decide to make the leap of, okay, I'm going to do something and work on my health right now, when she had been unhealthy for so long?
Tú cuando tú decidiste ir al programa, ¿cómo te sentías?
Que ya no podía conmigo, ni mi peso no me dejaba caminar.
When she started the program, she just felt like she had to make a change because she couldn't walk. She would waddle like a little duck. She would waddle from place to place. She was having a hard time tying her shoes. Like, she needed everybody to help her. And she just felt so helpless. Like, I remember she would wear slip-ons because the fact that she didn't want to tie a shoelace.
So
or slipper
71 years old and dependent on her family to tie her shoes.
to tie her shoes.
71 years young. And when she
70
came in, she was 210 pounds.
210 pounds.
She was
210
over 100 years old metabolically. She
And
was
she just
over.
she didn't have like a sense of like, I want to live. She was just, and she doesn't mind me sharing this. She was in constant depression.
Mhm.
She was just, her days would start off and she didn't have a sense of living. She didn't have a sense of purpose. She's a really good cook and she even lost that. Like she didn't want to get up and make her own meals or let alone cook for anybody. So her life didn't really have any meaning and she was always just really, really like in a dark place, like emotionally.
Yeah.
And she would express that. And I just kind of just felt like I didn't know how to help her. So I felt helpless.
And I felt that in the room with her, and it hit my heart so hard because, some of us are more empaths than others. And as I'm getting older, I'm realizing I'm more of an empath and I can really feel, what other people feel. And I felt that in your mom. And I so wanted to help her. And I wasn't sure, because when you're just existing like that, it's hard to have the motivation to even follow a program. But I think the love that you two share was enough of a spark and enough of a motivation for her. So since August, I know she has, since August, she's gone from 210 pounds, and it's not about the weight, but the weight tells us metabolic age. So she went from over 100 years old metabolically, 210 pounds. She lost 28 pounds her first round.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's at 169. And
Actually, she weighs less now.
Wow, really?
¿Cuánto pesas?
149.1.
Today she weighed 149. 0.1. 149.1.
Oh my gosh, really?
So she's been doing really, really well, exceptionally well.
So she's lost like 70, 80 pounds.
She's lost 70 or 80 pounds.
In less than 7 months, 7, 8 months. Wow. So that means, I have her metabolic age at 169 at about 8 in the 80s metabolically. So if she's down in the 140s, she's probably in her 50s or 60s metabolically right now.
And she's at her 60s.
So she's 72 years old now, but she's in her 60s metabolically. And tell me what happened I know we sat down and looked at all of her medications and we're like, okay, what's safe to stay on? What does she need to get off of right away? And she made some decisions on some things that she was going to stop. Like I will tell everyone listening, when I take diabetics through, we pretty much have to stop the diabetic medications almost immediately, or at least drop in half immediately. Because if we don't, your blood sugar drops too low. So where is she at now with all the medications?
Well, I remember right off the bat, I think you told her that she was taking the same medication, different brands. I think it was a heart medication or a high cholesterol. So she stopped that. She stopped that right away.
Okay.
¿Qué estás tomando ahorita con tus medicaciones que te dio tu doctor?
Nada.
Nada?
Nada.
Ninguna?
No.
Ni para colesterol?
No.
She stopped all of them. She's telling me all of them.
Did you know that? Zen, did you know that?
I knew that she was taking the diabetic one, half of it, just because oftentimes, it'll spike up and she has an elevated blood sugar level, but I wasn't really aware that she's like stopped all of them at this point. So really.
I know that we had originally talked about your sister texting me her blood sugar readings. Ask her, is she recording them? Is she checking her blood sugar every morning?
She's checking it twice a day. And especially when she doesn't feel good or she's had a really stressful day. But she is
that's
checking
right.
It. I think for her stress, she has a hard time managing the stress in her life.
Okay. So we need to talk about that because you have you talked about stress when we first started the interview and that you were struggling with stress. So I want to let everybody that's listening know that yes, sugar and carbs release insulin and cause fat storage. But when you're under stress, you trigger the adrenal glands to release cortisol. So we have 3 top fat storage hormones in the body: estrogen, that's why it's harder for women to lose weight; insulin, which is released when we eat sugar and carbs. And that could be an orange, that could be, a piece of whole grain bread, things that we think are healthy. And then the third fat storage hormone is cortisol, which is released from the adrenal glands. Oh, we just lost your video.
Oh.
There we go. Which is released from the adrenal gland when you're under stress, which is a fat storage hormone. So when she's under stress, her adrenals kick in, which creates an increase in glucose, because the cortisol acts a lot like insulin in what it does with raising glucose, because it thinks when you're under stress, it thinks that you're running from a tiger. And so if you're running from a tiger because you got all this stress, well, you need glucose so that you can get your muscles to run away, right? So we're having these reactions that weren't meant to be. These high stress times were only meant to be during times of life and death. But because of our daily lifestyle and we're working too much and traffic, and especially here in Southern California, it's like we're constantly running from that saber-toothed tiger, and we're constantly creating this stress level that was only meant to be in a life or death situation. So stress reduction, Miss Zen is so important. So diet's important, right? But that's why we talk about mind, body, spirit. All right, so tell me now, have your mom describe like where is she at emotionally? Speaking of, yeah.
Emocionalmente, ¿cómo te sientes tú y qué has hecho para apoyarte tú con tus cuando tienes mucho estrés en tu vida?
Me voy a caminar, camino y me siento mejor.
Pero ¿cómo te sientes? ¿Te sientes mejor? ¿Te
Sí.
sientes? She said she goes for walks. She definitely feels a lot better. And
Can she tie her shoes?
I'm sorry?
Can she tie her shoes?
She can tie her shoes. She's wearing tennis shoes now.
Yes.
Fabiola.
And she started listening to Spanish meditations, and I think
good.
they help calm the mind. So I think they help her kind of just feel more at ease with whatever she's feeling. The deep breathing helps her too.
So she's just, if she were to rate her like mental health on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being super happy and, free and just anti-stress versus where she was in the beginning. So 0 to 1 would be like really depressed, doesn't want to live. Where would she rate her mental health or depression on a scale of 1 to 10 in the beginning, and where is she now?
Tu salud mental, si tú tuvieras que ponerle un número 10 siendo que te sientes maravillosamente y un 0 a 1 que te sientes como que te vas a morir, en el principio, ¿cómo te sentías?
En el principio me sentía como que me iba a morir.
Okay, so in the beginning, she felt like she was down, like rock bottom, like at a 0.
Ahorita me siento como un 9.
And right now she feels 0. And right now she feels like she's at a 9.
Fabiola! Sorry, it's making me emotional. Is that
emocional? Que es muy, muy
I'm so happy, and I'm sitting right now in front of a saying from Ralph Waldo Emerson, and part of the saying is to know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to be a success. So nothing to do with cars or homes or money. To me, I know that I'm a success because I helped you.
Que ella se sienta como que ella está en un buen lugar porque te ha ayudado a ti.
No, y gracias porque ella me motivó. Cuando la primera vez que yo la visité, me dijo, si no está segura, no lo tiene que hacer. Y yo dije, yo puedo hacerlo.
She just said she felt very inspired and very motivated by you, because initially when she met you on the intake, she really recalls, like, she was very impressed with the fact that you told her, if you can't do it, if you're not ready, then don't do it. And my mom's thinking, like, I can do this. Like, there's no reason why I can't do it. So she, at the same time, she felt like challenged, and she felt like she wanted to be successful with the challenge, and she felt like she could do it. There's nothing that was going to stop her. So for her, it was like a personal, like, she took it very personal.
Yeah. So I'm counting. It's actually only been 6 months. It's August, September, October, November, December. It's been 6 months. Her life is completely changed. It's like a completely different person in 6 months, just by, taking care of yourself and making a choice and deciding to live again and putting healthy foods into her body so that her body could heal from the inside out. Was
So
it hard for her? I know with tortillas and like a lot of the foods that she's used to eating, is it hard for her not to eat a lot of those carbs now?
I think it's easier for her, and I think she would hide it from us because she's diabetic. So she was an emotional eater. If
Yes.
she didn't feel good, she would eat things that she wasn't supposed to eat. And then we would see her a couple of days later, and I was like, "Mom, what's going on? Like, are you gaining weight?" And she's like, "No, I'm eating everything that I'm supposed to be eating." But she was keeping it from us. But I think it was like her way of coping with whatever she was feeling. So
Yes.
she's like completely stopped all that, and she just, I think she feels like she has control of her life now, whereas before she just felt like more of a victim.
Yeah.
But she just feels like she's making the right choices for herself and for her body, and she's reaping the benefits.
So when she first started the food change, because that's kind of what we start with to get you into fat burning, how was it for her? Was she hungry? Did she have a pretty easy time with it? Was it hard?
Cuando empezaste a comer diferente, ¿cómo te sentías tú? ¿Tenías dificultades con el programa? ¿Te sentías mala? ¿Cómo te sentías?
No, yo me sentía bien y ella comía lo que mi ración y me siento bien, no me pega hambre.
¿No tenías problema? ¿No querías
No,
comer más?
No.
She said she didn't have a problem with the food, and she felt good like right away with the portions and everything else. Her food was always her plate was always very colorful. So it was plentiful and colorful. So I think she felt satisfied, because I would oftentimes tell her, ask her, are you eating enough? And
Yes.
she would reply, yes, I feel good. I'm satisfied after the meal. I am eating enough.
Even though she wasn't eating any oils and fats for those first 40 days.
No.
But you guys are you guys both in another lose it stage right now? Did you start another 40-day round?
No, we're gonna kind of stick to stage 2 for a bit, because we can both feel that when we do our reset days, we've been doing like the egg and coffee reset days, and the next day we'll lose a pound.
Oh, so that's why she's still dropping, even though she's not in a lose it.
Yes.
So she's eating healthy fats.
She's gonna start today's day 42 for her.
Okay.
So she's starting stage 2 in 2 days.
Okay.
So she'll start incorporating the healthy fats then. But in the lose it stage, she just felt like there was days when she would hit a plateau, and we would go through the different reset days. And I think she's done all of them. She's did the all vegetable day, the steak day, and now the egg day. And she tells me that she's happiest with the egg day, even though she doesn't like eggs, because she feels satisfied. And
what about, does she like coffee? Because it's eggs, coffee, and coconut oil.
Yes, but she just doesn't really care for eggs.
So, but she likes the coffee with the oils.
She likes the coffee with oils.
Awesome. All right. So I know, Zen, when you started, let's see, I just kind of went from, because I know you've been with us for a while, but when you kind of restarted with her, well, back in 4 months before she started. So back in, I think it was, oh no, this is 2019 that I have.
2019, yes.
2019, you started out at 85 years old metabolically.
Yes. I think I was at 187 or 188.
Yeah, 186, 85 years old metabolically. Water was down in the 30s. Almost everything was in the red. And then you were able to, I think you dropped like 23, 24 pounds the first round. And then how have you been doing since your first round? How are things going for you? Are you struggling at all? How are things going?
Well, I'm not going to lie to you. That first round was the most successful round for me.
Yes.
And since then, I've just had a lot of things going on, and I haven't been able to stick to any rounds thereafter until this last round when my mom came on board.
Okay. And how was that different? How was that?
Yeah, I kind of plateaued at like the 150s, and I couldn't, get the scale to dip lower than 150, 155. And right now I'm at 149. So she's actually caught up to me.
You broke the 150. So that means, because you were at 153, you went from 85 years old metabolically to 55 years old metabolically. So now in your 140s, you're probably in your 40s metabolically.
So it's just, for me, it's just the struggle, because I just have to really be consistent every day, because I just noticed that it kind of fluctuates.
Yes.
So just having my mom on board, I think it just gives me that extra, it's a sort of competition too, because like I said, she's already caught up to me.
Yes. And we have your before picture. We'll probably post it in the group a little bit later. You look like a different person, and your mom too. I mean, you guys both look so different.
We feel different. Like for me, it's I can tell like there's a lot of toxicity going on. My skin looks a lot clearer. It's not as dull. The inflammation, I definitely had a lot of inflammation just across the board.
You were puffy.
I was puffy. Yes, I was very, very puffy. I have a round
Yeah.
face, but it was definitely like a really, really puffy.
Yeah, like a little ball.
Like a moon. So definitely notice a change. And you know, I've come across people that I haven't seen in a long time, and they're just kind of like, oh my God, what are you doing? You know, you look so much better. You've lost so much weight. And what's amazing is I weigh about 149, 150.
Yeah.
But people tell me I look like I weigh 130. So that's what's amazing about this program. You definitely lose the inches.
Yes.
And not so much on the scale. You know, I weigh a lot more, but I look a lot thinner.
Do you know why? Do you know how to explain that to people?
I haven't really got it, you know, because of Corona, it's not, I don't really have the conversation.
Okay.
And it's always in
but do you know why? Do you personally know why?
I want to say that I don't have a clear idea of why. I think I do, but maybe we can offer some insight.
Okay, thank you. So the reason people lose inches on this program and not as much weight is because other weight loss programs, you starve the body, your water drops, you slow your metabolism down, and yes, you do lose some body fat, some inches, but you also lose muscle because you're starving the body. It's not nutritionally sound, it's not customized. So we are 180 degrees different. So what we do is we get you into fat burning. Your water actually comes up. So your cells get more hydrated, your body gets healthier. You don't lose any muscle because you're only burning fat for fuel. So you lose less weight because you're losing more body fat, but gaining more healthy water. So you're losing body fat, which is weight, but you're gaining water, which is weight.
Estás perdiendo más gordura. Y por eso este programa es diferente, porque estás perdiendo gordura, no estás perdiendo el músculo y tu cuerpo está reteniendo el agua porque estás tomando más agua. So, por eso a veces pesas más, pero te miras más delgada.
And that's why even sometimes when your weight's not changing, you're losing inches, you're getting smaller because your weight's not changing because you're still dropping body fat, but your water's getting healthier percentage, because we want you guys to be in the 50% of your body, 50% of your body weight in a healthy person should be water. And let's see, Zen, when you first started,
tu peso debería ser agua, 50% de tu peso.
Your waters in the beginning was low 40s. I'm not sure. Actually, no, you were in the low 30s when you started. And I think your mom was too. Yeah, she was in the low 30s too. And now I think you guys are both like getting closer to 40-45%. So we still have a little ways to go for you guys to be totally healthy, because ideally we want your body fat, your water percentage up to 50. But that's why you lose so many inches, because you're losing more body fat, but your healthy water's going up. So you don't see as much change on the weight scale, or you see a change, obviously. She's dropped 80 pounds, but 80 pounds in this program looks like 100 pounds or more with another program. 20 pounds on this program looks like 40 pounds.
So en este programa, las libras se miran como más porque estás perdiendo la gordura. En otro programa, 100 libras se miran como 100 libras, pero en este programa, 100 libras se van a mirar como 120 libras.
And you don't lose healthy weight. You don't lose healthy muscle. You don't lose healthy structural fat. The body only goes after, because you're in this fat burning, healing autophagy mode, the body only goes after the unhealthy fat, the unhealthy cells, the precancerous cells, the tissue that's not healthy. It's going to eat up all that tissue and use that for protein and use that for fuel instead of your actual healthy muscle. Okay, so where are we going from here? What's the future look like?
Well, definitely, it's going to become a lifestyle, just because of the diabetes, the high cholesterol that runs in the family.
Yeah.
and the emotional like well-being that is tied to our lifestyle. We're very emotional people, and so definitely it's going to become a lifestyle, and it's just a lot of education for my mom, because I want her to have a good quality of life. I want her to be happy while she's here and just enjoy every day. So we're going to definitely continue and just grow with the program.
Yeah. What does the rest of the family think about what's happening with you two?
We have mixed feelings. It's just they're definitely happy, and it there's a lot of awe, like I can't believe it, congratulations, things like that. So I think they're still processing it.
Okay.
And I think if she sticks with it, they're gonna see that this is a lifestyle. This is not just a fad diet.
Yeah.
So definitely gonna continue with it.
Awesome. So ask your mom if there was another woman with diabetes in her 70s watching this and thinking about doing the program, what would she say to them?
Que si tú conocieras a una persona que tuviera tu edad y tuviera tus problemas como diabetes, no se sintiera bien, ¿tú qué le dirías?
Yo le recomendaría que el programa que yo hice.
She says she would recommend them to think about starting the program just like she did.
Yeah.
Pero ¿por qué?
Porque yo me siento otra.
Because she feels different. She feels like a different person.
Siento otra. Feels like a different person.
Yes.
Oh, I love it.
Estoy más motivada, ya puedo guisar, puedo hacer cosas con mis nietos.
She just feels like she's motivated now. She's able to cook, which she loves cooking. She's able to be there for her grandkids, and she's just a very maternal person and just very giving. And she's actually able to give, so she feels like she has a purpose.
Oh, how many grandchildren does she have?
¿Cuántos nietos tienes? ¿Cuántos nietos tienes?
Tengo 5, pero estoy más feliz los 2 más grandes son más amorosos conmigo y les hago más cosas, comida y así.
She has 5 grandkids in total, but she's closer with the older 2.
Yes. So she's living it to lead it. Both of you are.
Yes.
And because you were willing to come on live like this, because lots of people will see this, and your testimony, sharing your story and being willing to be open and vulnerable is going to help somebody take that step. So thank you for helping me reach more people and help more people, because that's why we're all here. We got to figure out a way for you not to be working so much.
Que gracias, te agradece por tu tiempo, te agradece por toda tu información, y es muy personal, pero ella es una persona que quiere ayudar a mucha gente, y tú contando tu historia le da esa motivación para ayudar a la gente.
No, thank you.
She says
a todos porque son muy nice todos.
She's very grateful to your staff. Everybody's amazing. She just really just loves everybody.
Yeah. And I just recently saw you both in person. What was it, last week? Or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe, because I mean, seeing her is different than actually being in her presence, and the difference in her energy and just her psyche was just like completely different, smiling and happy. I want to share one thing that I just noticed on her BCA. Remember when we look at the visceral fat?
Yes.
So when she first came in, look at that. It was in the red.
I think now she's down to 13.
So that was the visceral fat when she first came in, way in the red, very dangerous. That's the fat around your organs and your heart that makes you more susceptible to dying early, heart disease, diabetes. The last thing I have, but it sounds like she's dropped another 20 pounds since then, was January 7th, and she was 13. So we went from 18 to 13. Is she in the green now?
She's in the 12. She's definitely she's down to 12.
Nice.
Down to 12.
So that's one of the things that, like, that's all I want to change. You know, I want that visceral fat to be in the green, because I know that has the most to do with her health long term, and that metabolic age, just to get that metabolic age as young and as low as possible. And no matter how old you are, your mom can get into her 20s, 30s, 40s metabolically easy. And you can too. I've had 80-year-old clients, several, get into their 20s and 30s metabolically just by continuing on with the lifestyle, but it doesn't happen overnight. I mean, it took me about 2 years to get into my 20s metabolically. So you just continuing it, the lifestyle, and your body just keeps getting cleaner and better at burning fat. And then this time we're going to teach you Zen diet variation so that you can throw different things at the body, high carb days for nice hormone balancing, and some feast days and famine days and fasting days, and just different ways of eating. So you're not just doing the same thing day in and day out. And that's what I've really figured out how to really, zone in on, is that variation. And I've just seen my body, just without a bunch of exercise, but just I've seen my body just get leaner, more muscle definition. And it's been primarily just with throwing different things at my body nutritionally, different ways of eating.
Kind of going back to when she first went in, I think for her it was just a rude awakening because she knew she was unhealthy. But just hearing that, I think you told her that you had never come across a client that had such a high fat, like her weight was, a majority of it was fat versus just anything else. And you just said, I think you're the most obese person, like not obese scale wise, but obese fat wise. That I've come across.
Yes, thank you. Because most of my clients, I don't typically see, and I don't remember seeing very many clients in 7 years that had more than 50% of their body weight was fat. And your mom was 51.7% body fat. So more than half, more than half of her body was fat. And ideally, females should only be about a quarter of their body should be fat. That's healthy fat, about 25%. That's healthy. That's good estrogen balance. That's good cushioning for the organs. We do need some fat.
Yeah.
Women need a little bit more fat than men, especially if you're childbearing, because fat cells produce estrogen and just help with hormone balance. And then with your mom being older, it's okay for her to have a little bit more fat because she's gone through menopause. So those fat cells, most people don't know this, actually produce estrogen and help with hormone balance, but we do not want over half of your body weight in fat. So I look forward to seeing that come down. I don't know what it is now. I think the last time in January I have her in her 40% body fat.
I think she's considered obese now, so it's definitely decreased. Because I just remember her scan. You know how you're rated fat, obese, or over fat. She's over fat now. She's not rated obese.
Oh, so she switched into over fat.
She switched to over fat.
Obese. Awesome.
Yeah.
And then what about you? Where are you at?
Over fat.
Same thing. So you guys are both went from obese to over fat.
Over fat. Uh-huh.
So now we want to get you to, I think the next thing is, I think it's just called healthy.
Okay.
The next range, I think it's like, it's on here. Yeah, we have over fat. I think it's called like let's see, what is it? It's, the physique rating. We're going to get you from obese. Now you're in over fat. And then the next physique rating will be healthy. So that's your next goal. Awesome. I want to really thank you. I know it was hard, like scheduling with you with your work schedule. And I'm so sorry we had so many starts and stops, but I'm glad that we finally figured it out on a Saturday. I'd rather do it when you're relaxed. And do you work on Saturdays?
I normally do. It would happen to be my day off.
Okay, good.
So
I'd rather see you on a day off to where you don't have to think about work. And so this worked out really good. So any last thoughts that you want to share before we go? I'm looking on Facebook. Does anybody have any questions for Fabiola or Zen? Anybody that's seeing us on Facebook right now, any questions for them?
Me siento muy feliz ahora porque ya cambié de una gorda a una flaca, de una gordita a una flaquita.
Gorda and flaca, fat and skinny.
She feels happy. She can call herself skinny.
Oh, now she can call herself flaca.
Yes.
Awesome. How about you, Zen? Any closing thoughts?
No, I just feel like I'm finally healthy now. I think when I first came across your program, you were on the fish. I was hearing something on the fish, and it came across, like the infomercial. But I just remember always I've always loved to work out. Always have had like the niche to eat healthy, but I
Mhm.
was always just stuck at I was always just stuck at the 180. I couldn't budge from 180.
Mm,
So having made that transition, it's just been life-changing for me as well.
yeah. So you were in what we call weight loss resistance mode.
Yes.
No matter what you did, nothing would budge
Mhm.
because your body was just stuck. Weight loss resistance. So yeah, this program unsticks you, gets rid of weight loss resistance, gets rid of insulin resistance, which is what pre-diabetes and diabetic is, thyroid resistance, anything when you hear resistance, it has to do with those beautiful little hormone receptors on the cell. So these receptors are just continuing to heal and get healthier and
Eso es una
healthier.
célula, y todo eso son receptores.
And so that's why we've made such a change.
Caminaba con un bordón y ahora ya camino bien sin bordón.
My mom just said she just wanted to share that she needed to walk with the cane before. Like she needed a cane for assistance. And
Yeah.
now she doesn't use the cane at all. So she's just able to walk on her own.
Wow. Fabiola. Es fantástico. That's amazing. How do you say amazing in Spanish?
She understood you.
Oh, but I want to know, how do you say amazing?
Maravilloso.
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 Oh, maravilloso, like marvelous.
Yes.
And obviously she knows,
Fantástico.
and she knows what pura vida means, right?
Tú sabes qué es pura vida, ¿verdad?
Yes. Yes.
Even though you guys aren't from Costa Rica.
No.
Does she know that that's a common saying? That's how they say hello in Costa Rica?
Eso es un dicho en Costa Rica, pura vida.
Pura vida is almost like in Estados Unidos. Hi, how are you? In Costa Rica, ellos dice pura vida.
Es su manera de saludar en Costa Rica.
Okay, muchas gracias a juntos. Me llamo juntos. Gracias, gracias, gracias.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. De nada, con mucho gusto. Happy Saturday. You guys enjoy the rest of your day.
Likewise. Bye.
Go do something fun.
Yes.
Okay.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Adios.